So hey there, thanks for checking out my videos here on YouTube. I do greatly appreciate it. So we're kind of upgrading a little bit, I guess. We're using the cell phone essentially to do a couple little in-office videos. A little better quality as far as the live stuff is concerned, a little less grainy. I think the audio level is about the same. We're going to try and find ourselves a lapel mic at some point, just kind of dress it up a little bit. But if you find that the content to be interesting, or you think that the subject matter is kind of what you're looking for, if you could leave a thumbs up, it's always really nice. Or if you could subscribe, that would be wonderful as well. We're sitting at about 400 right now, which I think is really good considering I've been doing this for about a year. And the topic that we're dealing with, which is peer-to-peer car rentals, Turo, we talk automotive as far as repairs, parts sourcing, financing, insurance, purchasing vehicles, a whole host of things that are kind of just automotive related. Turo is a hobby of mine. So in other words, I like to pick up a car, recondition it, throw it up on Turo. I've been doing that for about a year. Get a little rental time out of it and kind of get some experience with it, get some content essentially. I've had an Outlander up there. We've had a Chevy Cruze. Now we've got a Hyundai Genesis, which we've been shooting videos on. So check those out. Like they're in the little feed there off to the side, and it'd be really nice if you kind of had a little view of what we're doing out in Atwood, Ontario. And essentially, it's just a little sideline for me, a little project. We're in my little 3D printer area where I do 3D scanning, also paint. So that's one of my paintings right there. So again, it's just kind of like my little hobby space. I work a full-time job, so in order to get things kind of rolling and to get things done, I need something that's got some flexible scheduling to it, and Turo allows that. So in other words, it takes some time to do it, but it's usually a pretty good return off that, I think. It's not a huge amount of money, just so you're aware of that, but it's enough to make me go buy another car. So it's one of those things where I'm in a really small market. If you're in Kitchener, Waterloo, or maybe you're in Owen Sound, maybe you're a little busier. I'm kind of smack dab in the middle of those places. So I tend to get more of a local crowd. And I've only got originally one car. Now I'm up to two. And I book out maybe 10, 15 days out of the month. The Outlander was doing pretty decent, but for whatever reason, the market has slowed down a little bit, and it shows on Turo. Like when you look at the cars that are available today, and then you see the ones that are available in 30 days, they're about the same. So it just tells me that no one's really overly busy right now. So good time to retool, good time to kind of focus on a few of the little things. And I thought, well, okay, let's take a look at what we've been doing in the past and kind of what got shelved. So about 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, time just goes by so fast. I went to go buy. I wanted to get a truck, an SUV or a van for work. I've picked up a few other little things, kind of in passing, going to tool auctions and things along that line. So I've got a roto brush system. I've got a vacuum system set up for doing duct cleaning and residential furnace servicing, like just basic stuff. It's what I did that way back in the day, and I thought to myself, I need to get something that's got a little more of a business that's kind of mine to control. Turo's, I rely on their bookings. I rely on their ability to get insurance. And when we had that little fright with the Americans, where you kind of go, okay, well, if you're getting taxed on U.S. services, the debate, at least coming from me, was, will Turo represent 30% tax? Will Turo, because their insurance is funded from the states to a certain degree, will that be a problem up here? I thought, well, as a sideline, I'm already into it, so I might as well just keep running with it until I can't, as far as that's concerned. And I just kind of played it by ear, thinking, okay, well, we'll see what will happen, right, as far as that's concerned. And I'm working with cash cars. So it's not a huge investment. There's some money in it, but I can always liquidate the cars. You know what I mean? Like I can always resell them. So, and I should get close to what I paid for them. So I'm not that concerned about it. But I thought, okay, well, let's get back into doing some residential work. We can do some painting, drywall, we can do duct cleaning, a host of stuff, but we need something to do it with. So we went and hit the government auctions because, again, why not? And I'll show you what we picked up. So this is a 2012 GMC 1500. It's a work truck, so nothing too fancy. This one here has had some work done to it. So I really haven't been doing much with it because I got sidetracked, to be honest with you. So it went to storage. So it's parked over my little storage area. It's kind of sitting in limbo at this point. I'm debating about whether or not to sell it and get a minivan, because then I could throw the minivan on Turo and then use it kind of if needed to run and get a couple little contract jobs. But it's one of those things where it's almost like 90% done. So let's review what was the cost on it. So 2012 GMC Sierra 1500 WT, so it's the work truck package. So we're talking rubber floors, bench seat, 2-wheel drive, automatic air conditioning, little manual windows, so old school style truck. Just, it's a work truck, nothing more, nothing less, right? So we've added a couple little things to it. We did a little hood deflector on the front because we went to the little U-Pull-It yard and got ourselves a deal on some of these accessories. It's got some vent shades on it now that match this, so it's not shown in the photo. We got a lovely old school box cover. So again, this is oversized slightly for the truck, but strangely enough, works. So again, that was a nice, easy investment. I wanted something that had a little height to it in the back so I can actually roll in the rotor brush system, and I got to put a little ramp on the back. We still need to build that. So it's one of those things where it's coming along. It had some rust, a couple of spots here. They're actually really not holes. It's like someone had nudged it against a fence post or something during probably one of the wonderful days as a government truck. These wheels are off of a Chevy truck that I got out of Kijiji. So the tires are really good. I wanted to get those so they'd pass safety. And it came with these chrome, faux aluminum wheels. They're actually a steel wheel, so they've got a good towing rating to them. And the tires themselves are in decent shape. So that's basically the truck right there. It looks good. You know, it's pretty solid. That's it when we were picking up the topper. So you can kind of see it's got the wheels on it, topper's on there. That's where we picked it up. So Highbury Pools, that's where it was. So not the truck itself, but that topper. So you can see why we picked up a set of wheels. When it came in from the government auction, they were essentially bowled. So I had to drive in on those, which was kind of to be honest with you, it wasn't frightening by any stretch of the imagination. It was just one of those things where you kind of go, oh dear. Right, so that's why we went and picked up a set of tires. And they were just weathered right out. They were just at the point where they were about to go. And the wheels needed to get refinished. And I thought to myself, well, instead of going through the refinishing process, we'll hit Kijiji and we'll try and get a set of rims and tires ready to mount, right? And we did. And it was affordable. I think I spent, it was about $500 for a set of 4 tires with about 90% tread life on them. The truck itself, we had to reupholster the driver's seat. For whatever reason, they replaced the windshield for me. I don't know why they did that. It was a nice little complimentary thing. So the windshield, literally when I picked it up, was still tacky. So I guess they had pre-ordered it and it was there in the warehouse, so they installed it, which was really surprising. It saved some money. You see, we got the duct tape seat, so we reupholstered that, so that's actually no longer there. And we gave it a good clean up. So the truck itself cleaned up really nice. We did get, as soon as we picked up a wheel cover because the steering wheel was your typical garden variety, just riddled with filth. But again, surprisingly not that bad. Normally government vehicles are a lot worse. So we have the typical airbag light on, and we've got 2 sensors that need to get replaced to clear that. Air conditioning was cold, which was nice, and it had just been serviced. So it was one of those things where just inadvertently I had to replace the battery. So we went out, we grabbed ourselves a little battery meter just to make sure the new battery was good. Took a booster pack along with us as well. A little rust, and we cleaned that up, so that's no big deal. Some scrapes and bruises. You can see that it's really not holes, it's just kind of scraped right along the side there. Like, it's not looking great. It needed to get tidied up, so it's all been cleaned up. I've got a video there where I put on some box extensions. They look like little flares. They're quite good. And the inner box was in good shape too, although it looks like it's been riddled with dents from throwing cinder blocks and stuff on it. And the rear bumper looks like they've been hauling a trailer with it and just nicked it a couple times. But it's not bent. It's just cosmetically it looked horrible. And we'll get to that at some point. So again, you can see it's just a fold in the metalwork. It all cleaned up really well. But let's look at the billing. And if you want to check that out, I put that up on YouTube, so you can kind of follow that. So if you're buying something off a government auction site, and the reviews on this site are all over the place. So if you're checking it out, check and see where the vehicle's coming from. So I narrowed it down to like 200 kilometers outside my hometown. And I really only looked for municipalities, and mainly because what I find on the municipality item is that they have a budget, and they usually have a garage, and usually they do their own work in-house. Now, their carproof report won't show the work they've done, so it'll have like 10 years that look like it hasn't had anything done to it. But again, it's all in-house, so they just don't register the work with Carfax. So usually these are pretty well kept. Although cosmetically they always look horrible, but usually mechanically they're fine. At least that's what I've always found, unless you look at a listing and you go, oh, well, clearly the axle's hanging off of it. And they're pretty good at actually labeling things. So we're going to go down here. So buyer and seller, again, I got this out in Strathroy, so about an hour and a half drive, not too bad. So again, small township, vehicle's been there since new, and they did all the service work. So 2012, 1500 work truck, 2-wheel drive, pickup location, Strathroy. So these don't go to a central auction. There's one in Toronto where RCMP and Ontario Police and Fire Services send their vehicles to. The small municipalities don't, so it means they're kind of all over the place. And that tends to take away the dealers and the guys really trying to curb cars. They don't want to drive all the way from the GTA out to Strathroy to get a vehicle that they can't check over first. So this is a real spin the wheel and hope that you're getting something that runs and drives. And this was an impulse purchase. So that's just the nature of it. So I was sitting watching the auction, and it came up for $1,775. For a truck with 220,000 kilometers on it, V6, without the variable valve and the multi-valve thing. It's just the standard Vortec. It's really a reliable engine. Buyer's premium, you pay 6%. So $106 goes to the auction. They charge you an OMVIC fee. Not that OMVIC will do anything for you because it's an auction. So there's no recourse on this. You've bought it, you own it, and you pay your tax, which I find to be a real bargain. Like, this is really where the savings is, because the tax is calculated on the selling price, not on the retail or wholesale pricing through the motor vehicle department. It's actually done at the point of sale. So it is a good savings for you from that standpoint. There's a little environmental tax of $13. So the total out of pocket is $2,150, right? So now they make you run out and you have to go get the ownership and paperwork all done before you can take the truck, which just makes sense. You know, that's not really the issue, but it means it's 2 trips out. And again, they give a little declaration here. So they go, operational issues unknown. They don't really tell you anything. Vehicle requires more than $3,000 to be roadworthy. So that scares most people away. Scratches, dings, dents, rust. They did pull the decals off it, which is kind of nice. Again, and they marked that they did the oil change every 5,000 kilometers, which I tend to believe. And when I got underneath the vehicle, it actually looks like the oil pan's new. So they did do regular maintenance. So I have no issues with the truck. It seems to run really well. But that's what the auction experience is like. So 6% auction fee, 13% tax. Tax is based on the actual sale price when you're going through the government auction. I think that's a pretty good result from that standpoint. So I'm kind of twisting the wind right now on that one. So it's still sitting in storage. I have all the equipment and gear to go ahead and do some duct cleaning and some furnace servicing. So everything is there. It's just one of those things I just haven't had time. So I've been debating about whether or not to sell the truck, or I don't know, maybe carry it to next season, just leave it in storage. It's one of those things where I'm not going to be terribly busy in December if we do duct cleaning. We've kind of missed the window of opportunity there for this year. So do I just keep it and tool it up for next season? That's the debate. It's not really a huge carrying cost. This is a really nice item when you get into a cash vehicle and you do it on a budget end of it. It's not really depreciating, so the asset is staying. It's in a clean storage area, so it's not going to get rotted out and rusted any further. I've already done most of the body work on it. Cosmetically, it looks okay. It's passable as a work truck. And to replace it, what am I going to replace it with? It's going to be hard pressed to find something. Now, we paid $2,150 for it from the auction end of it. So there's a set of tires. There's the box topper on it. We reupholstered the driver's seat. We did a serpentine belt, a couple pulleys, and some basic maintenance stuff like an oil change, and a few other little things just to bring it up to date. And so we're into it for maybe, well under $4,000, right? So what can you buy for $4,000 in Ontario that you can use as a work truck? It just doesn't seem to be out there. So it's one of those things that in all likelihood I will hang on to it. But it's one of those things where, should I sell it off and get into a minivan? And then minivan I can do the service work with and throw it up on Turo. And if I'm not busy doing service work and make all my equipment kind of portable, you slip it in, slip it out as per each job. It's been a personal debate. So again, that's the update on the auction truck. And we'll try and do some videos on kind of the finished product. I know I kind of pitted out there on energy because we were doing the Outlander, and then we picked up the Chevy Cruze, and then we picked up this Hyundai Elantra, and then I've had things going on at work, and life just kind of moves forward. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things that happens. So what are your thoughts on duct cleaning, and what are your thoughts on basic maintenance for home services? I think it's a nice little niche market. I think it complements Turo, because Turo doesn't take a lot of time off the schedule. I think it's going to be one of those things I'll probably end up doing it up in the spring. And it gives me a couple months to kind of get decaling and marketing and all that kind of all set up. So that's where we're at with the truck. So I just thought I'd update you there. So again, thank you very much for checking out the videos. I do greatly appreciate it. I do apologize. We're just not on the technology end of it. I don't have the screen capture stuff up yet. Working on it, but it's kind of a learning curve. It's one of those things where right now I'm just trying to get some content out there. If you like it, thumbs up would be great. If you're not into this type of stuff, then that's wonderful. Stay on the Turo subject matter. That's fine. But it's one of those things where it is car related, it's business related. I like to throw it up on the channel just to kind of keep things moving forward. So thank you very much, and have a pleasant and enjoyable day.